versus Jonathan Pearce. Makwan is going to be the more notable fighter here. Been in the UFC a little bit longer. Mostly fights on the European cards. Currently 17-7. When he first got to the UFC, he was highly touted to be one of those guys. A young guy with a lot of talent who would rise up through the ranks and really just make a statement. Hasn't really been able to do that. He kind of ran into a few rough patches here and there. Currently, he is on a 1-fight win streak, and before that, he did lose 3 in a row. He lost to Edson Barboza, Camuela Kirk, and LaRon Murphy. These are all good people. Now let me actually go check this guy's record real quick. I checked it earlier. Okay, well, he ain't the best. So he lost to Edson Barboza. They kind of threw him Camuela Kirk. He was supposed to win that one. Didn't go his way. For whatever reason, they threw him LaRon Murphy after that one. Well, they ended up being a knockout loss. LaRon is undefeated and is quiet as kept. He is making waves in the UFC. He's just not a big name yet, but remember that name, LaRon Murphy. Well, he fights Mike Grundy next. Superb wrestler. Mike Grundy takes a terrible shot to start the fight off. Makwan is able to lock in the neck. It wasn't the tightest guillotine, but he was able to make adjustments over the next few seconds, and no matter what Mike did, it just kind of made it worse. Makwan was able to lock it in real tight, put him to sleep. Jonathan Pearce, he's actually doing fairly well in the UFC. His only loss is to Joe Lozon. I don't think he had fought for a while, and he came back and just kind of put it on him. And that was like, okay, that's odd. But since then, he's won 3 fights in a row. He's looked pretty good in all of them. He finished 2 of these fights. He's a grappler too. He wants to get the fight to the ground. The striking isn't the best. It's nothing to write home about, but it's enough to get him close enough to you where he can use his chain wrestling, put you on the ground and go from there. One thing I will say is he does seem to be a little bit like anxious or a little bit almost sloppy on the ground to a certain degree, just trying to make something happen and jump on a submission. And they always say in training, position before submission. So sometimes it seems like he'll just jump on the submission first without securing the position. But he is dangerous. He likes to finish. He's got 12 wins, 8 by KO, surprisingly, and 2 by submission. We go here, and Makwan Amirkhani, 17 wins, 12 by submission. I can see either fighter beating the other guy. It makes it tough to pick. I will say, however, if I have to make a final prediction, just with the level of people that Makwan Amirkhani has been in there with, I know all of these fights haven't gone his way, and the record is not exactly what people thought it would be at this point, but he's been in there with some tough guys, and he's had some learning experiences, and I think that he'll be able to bring that with him in this fight. But I believe that with the experience from the level of people he's been in there with, Arnold Allen, I think he's about to be a top 5 featherweight potentially. Shane Burgos probably just cracked the top 10. Edson Barboza is a top 10 guy. LaRon Murphy, remember the name, he will be. So with the level of competition faced, I'm going to lean more towards Amirkhani. Now, Amir, he does like to finish a lot of his fights, and if he can get him out of there quick, he likes to do that. And he does kind of fade later on as the fight progresses. But Jonathan, he can kind of keep a certain pace, and a lot of times he can break people down and finish them. So I wouldn't be surprised if Amirkhani is winning in the beginning and kind of slows down a little bit and Jonathan takes over. I also wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan plays into the grappling game here and Amirkhani is a little bit more than what he can handle. But either way it goes, I do know it's going to be a fun fight. So y'all tune in, like, subscribe.